Hello and welcome back to Cru TV. I'm Tyler Adams along with Coach Morgan. This is our first segment with interviewing the coaches. Coach, we've had 2 weeks of the regular season now for the cross-country season and have done pretty well. The girls team has finished first in both their races and the guys have finished first and second. What are you most proud of in those first 2 weeks?
Through the first 2 weeks, really just getting through the heat. You know, this September's been the hottest September that we've had in quite a while. I think I saw that on the news the other day. And so for the runners to just be able to overcome that a little bit, we've had to adjust practices because of the heat. And so we're probably not as fresh as we'd like to be or where we'd like to be as far as mileage during the season. But for them to be able to get through that heat and still be able to do well at the meets, I'm just proud of their efforts.
Last week was the state preview at Wamego, and we had some pretty good finishers. Daisy DeWint led the girls' team and took second, and Tanner Lindahl led the boys' team and took third. Give us an input on how those races went.
I thought the races went really well. We finally got a good Saturday morning to run. It wasn't too hot. Temperature was pretty nice. Course is tough up in Wamego, and probably the toughest competition we're going to see until we get to Rimrock. But like you said, a preview of the state meet, the guys right now we're a little behind where I think we'd like to be. However, if you look at our mileage and where we're at, we're pretty on task for where we were last year. I'm not really worried about where our guys finished. Tanner, I thought, had a good race, ran pretty much what he needed to run. Hayden was in the top 10, did pretty well. I think we have Wyatt Bunce and Spencer Hines, our two freshmen, and they're kind of figuring out the 5K. And I think when they do, it's going to be a scary thought. And then got to get Cordell healthy, and I think that'll make a difference on the boys' side. But I thought they raced really well for where we're at right now. The girls was just nothing short of amazing what they absolutely did, making a statement out there on Saturday. To be able to, in a 16-team meet, be able to only score 25 points and win by 56 points, it's pretty impressive. They took off in a pack and were able to stay up in that pack and put 5 in the top 11. Like you said, led by Daisy, of course, Emma Willison and Leah Bentley and Emily Madison, and then a freshman, Lindsay Warner, was up there. And then our other two, Iris Reese and Britton Bobo, really did a good job too. So our JV kids performed really well on Saturday also. As we put our four JV girls in the top 8, and then our 4 JV boys were in the top 20. So the depth is looking pretty good for this team right now.
This week is our home meet. What are you most looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to see how the team reacts to some adversity. Our course got moved, so we're at Wheatland Park this year, and so I'm looking to see how do the kids react to that. There's 2 ways they can go, and I'm just anxious to see if they're gonna. I know they're disappointed that we don't get to run our home course. We feel like it's a good advantage for us, and so it kind of evens the playing field out a little bit. But just anxious to see how they step up and fight through that adversity.
All right, thank you, Coach, and best of luck to the rest of your season.
Thank you.
And make sure it's the home meet at Wheatland Park here in Bueller on Thursday, so make sure you come support your cross-country team.
So I'm here with Coach Sides. So Coach Sides, what do you do outside of teaching?
Well, I guess my moonlighting job is I do a little officiating in the evenings and the afternoons.
Why did you choose to do refereeing?
Well, that's a good question. I got I got started actually when I was in college. So it was a good college job, and then when I came to Bueller, I was coaching 3 sports, so I didn't have any time to do it. And when I quit coaching football a long time ago, I had some friends who were officiating, so I started officiating. So that's kind of how I got into it and developed into doing some basketball and some baseball from there.
And last question, how do you balance the two with teaching and refereeing?
Well, I've really cut back on how much officiating I do. I just really do Friday night varsity games only. I used to do Thursday middle school and Monday non-varsity games, but so just doing Friday nights is pretty simple. It's the end of the week, don't have too much going on the next day, and only gone one night a week, so that makes it pretty simple to handle.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
welcome to the fourth segment of the Touchdown Drive with Coach Warner. I'm Tyler Adams. Congrats, Coach, on your 35-21 win over Augusta.
Thank you.
First off, you're back on the road against the 0-3 Mulvane Wildcats. Can you give us some input on them?
Well, I'd have to say they're probably the best 0-3 team in the world. They've lost to 3 teams. They're all 3-0, so a combined record of 9-0. They've played great competition. Andale, Collegiate, Clearwater's good this year. So we have to be ready. Just because their record's 0-3 does not mean they're an 0-3 team. They always play us tough. They're always very, very physical, and they're well coached. So we're going to have to be ready to go.
So speaking of going on the road, where is your favorite stadium on the road to play?
Really, probably Mulvane. Coach Fenawal was there for a long time, and he always just welcomed us with open arms. They've got a great crowd. We always have a great crowd. The electricity's there. That's probably one of my favorite places to play other than at home.
Okay. So last question. We're gonna end on a funny one. How foolish is Antonio Brown?
He's a joke. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say. It's too bad that he has disrespected the game like he does, and I don't have a lot of good things to say about him. So that's definitely the way I feel about Antonio Brown.
All right. Thank you. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Make sure if you can't make it to the game at 7, tune in on Crusader Sports Network.
How long have you been teaching, and if this is not your first year, where else have you taught?
This is my first year of teaching.
What college did you graduate from?
I went to McPherson College for art school.
And are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
I help out with art club, and I volunteer around town.
And what are some of your hobbies?
I like to do pottery, and I like to make my own cards. I've got a pen pal in Natundi, Barunda. Her name is Leo Cotti, and I make cards for her, and I mailed them to her through World Vision. I make my own pottery, and I sell it at the farmer's market in Hutchinson. That's about it.
How long have you been teaching, and if this is not your first year, where else have you taught?
I've taught for about 34 years. I taught first in Africa for 2 years in the Peace Corps. Then I taught in Wichita, English as a second language, through the WSU. Then I taught in Ellsworth, French and Spanish in the high school. I taught in the Hutch middle schools, French and Spanish, Smoky Valley Spanish, retired, and now I'm here.
What college did you graduate from?
First I went to KU, got a bachelor's in French and a master's in teaching English as a second language, and then I got my certificate to teach French, Spanish, and English as a second language from Wichita State University.
Are you involved in any extracurricular activities?
I'm involved with my church on the vestry, and I'm a lector. And let's see what else. I get together with some friends and we speak French. Right now, mostly with trying to see my grandchildren that live in Nebraska, and then I have a daughter at K-State and a son in Little River. So those are my extra activities, and gardening.